All right. Sorry, this is a late stream, considering it's almost it's 7 and shy of being 8 o'clock at fucking night, at least here. Um, yeah, I'm extremely tired and I'm extremely hungry. So if you start hearing the sound of wrappers or the crinkling of something or any kind of weird sounds, uh, that's just me eating because I can't resist the hunger anymore. So, oh, God. Today was a bitch day at work, and it's only going to get worse. A lot fucking worse. Uh, so, how to explain it? Um, so, I've been put onto the mowing the mowing team, which means I have to use a push mower, big industrial one, and God, that means I'm pushing I'd have to say 150-pound to 200-pound mower by hand. Thankfully, it is powered. It's gas operated. Um, it has a clutch. It has gears. You can shift it into different speed settings. Problem is, uh, that doesn't help when you're using the blades because you can disengage and engage the blades. So basically, when you're also you have a big metal fucking heavy ass basket that sits on the side where it collects all the grass clippings. So basically, you're fucking pushing this goddamn thing, and you're going along and you're going along, and shit's fine. We'll give you something I wish I fucking had as a scenario, because I doubt you'll ever get this scenario. So so we're gonna give you a flat lawn, just flat. Nothing wrong with it. We won't even put trees. How about that? No trees, no shrubbery, nothing. It's just open, flat grassland. It's a field. It's an idyllic field. So you got this fucking mower, and what you have to do is, because some of them don't have keys, some of them just have a fucking cap that you just turn the knob for. Some of them you have to jack, which I have to do when I'm using my fucking pocket knife because we don't have the key for it. But because of one of the attachments on my pocket knife, I can just stick it in and twist it, and that'll actually engage the fucking. That'll turn on the fucking engine. So when I use the pull string. So, anyways, so what you do is you stand in back of it. You got two handles. Picture bike handles. You got two brakes. Those are your turning devices as well. You have a dashboard in front of you. There's the choke, which is a pull tab. Basically, it's a knob. Pull it up. That engages the choke, and then you push it down. That disengages the choke. You have a big yellow or red fucking button, and it's not really a button because you have to pull it to engage the blades, and then you push it down to disengage the blades. And then you have the key with all the different settings. And a throttle. Totally forgot about that. There's also a throttle. Below this dashboard, where the handles are 7 gears. You got reverse, then you have neutral, and then you have first, second, third, and fifth. Third, fourth, and fifth. Each one progressively faster. Fifth gear with the throttle open. The basket's not full. Matter of fact, we'll take away the basket. You don't have a basket on it when you're in fifth gear and you're at full throttle. You're probably going to be going about 20 miles per hour, give or take. Fourth gear, I'd say, is around 15 miles per hour. Third gear is around 10 miles per hour. Second's around 5. Average person's walking speed, probably around that speed. And then first gear is fucking just piddly shit. Like, you'll be if you were walking at your normal pace, you'd probably be fucking just bumping into the goddamn thing. Snail speed. Neutral, it's whatever. It's exactly what neutral is for every other fucking vehicle that has a neutral. And reverse doesn't work like you'd think, even with the throttle open wide for the fucking thing. Reverse just means that the back wheels will only go backwards. It's neutral in every other fucking term. Like, you could just go into neutral and back up instead of going to reverse. But that can kind of fuck up the gears and the bands and the pulleys and the belts. So basically, now that I've given you the description of this fucking thing, I've given you the rundown, the basics of how to operate this thing. Let's go back to our hypothetical, our scenario. You're opened up in a nice idyllic field, flat land, nothing in it, no rocks, no fucking roots, no bark, fucking branches, trees, shrubbery, nothing. It's just grass. And to go with the height of the grass, we'll say that the grass is about 3 inches. 3 inches high. Your blades, the whole bin that holds the blades, there's 3 blades. It's kind of like a triangle shape, very loose, like an obtuse shape, like a 160-degree obtuse angle kind of fucking shape. Very loose definition of a triangle shape. They're inside of a bin. The bin has 4 pins. Each one lowers it. So I've set your bin where the blades are to 2.5 inches, which means when you mow, you're only going to be clipping off 1/2 inch off of this idyllic grass we've got. So you hold on to the handles. First, you got to turn it on, pull strength, basically starting it up like a normal fucking mower. Then you keep her in neutral, and the 2 hand brakes, when you hold them, there's 2 buttons on the sides where your thumbs are. You push those in, and that'll lock it into the gear it's in. And it's like an emergency brake sort of thing. It's not going to move. So what you do is you lock it into place, take it out of neutral, and we'll say we put you into second gear. So you're going to be walking around 5 miles per hour. Now, you need to go from where you fucking start, and we're going to say it's 100 feet. It's 100 feet by 100 feet square. Square open field. You need to walk 100 feet down. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I'm skipping a step. What you need to do is you need to walk the perimeter. You need to walk the fucking perimeter the entire fucking way. And once you've done that, your back's probably going to be full 10 times. That basket's going to be filled 10 times. Which means when you take that basket, the basket has a pin and it has a hook. The hook falls onto a metal lip on the back of it. The pin goes into the very front of it. Give me a second. All right. So basically, This hook keeps it resting about a ½ inch above the grass. That way rocks and shit won't hit it. That can be a detriment, especially when you're going up a hill, because the very front of it will dig right into the fucking thing. Also, you have to mow everything with your left side towards the grass. So if you're doing like the side of a road, left side out. The bag's on the right side. If you have the bag outside, it's going to be hanging outside of the road, which means it might get fucking hit. Same thing with flower beds, going around lamp posts, mailboxes, any kind of trees, any kind of obstacle, and you have to go around it and mow around it in a circle. You have to have the left inwards. So what happens is, we'll say your first basket is full, or the cage, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So it's full. All right. You will notice right away that your bag is full because there's a little hole, like a little gap between the bag and the fucking the bin itself that houses the blades. This gap will leave if your bag is full, it'll leave a fine, very minuscule line, but noticeable, of cut grass. So if we'll say you saw that immediately, like 2 feet. You're walking 2 feet and you're like, holy shit, the bag's full. What you do is you lock it into place, take it out of fucking second gear, put it in neutral. And now you disengage the blades, lower the throttle, and you now walk to the right, and there's 2 handles. There's a hatch door and then the front of the basket. Both of them have a handle on them. You grab both, you pull up. We'll say you have exactly what everybody else has at my job. A barrel. Heavy duty plastic fucking barrel, probably 10 pounds. You put it on the lip, and you have a latch that holds the handle in place for the basket. You flip that up, the clasp up, flip it back, and now you can slide the fucking door off. Now you're going to see all the grass. You then proceed to dump it the best you can. If you've overstuffed the bag, though, it can condense and pack, which means you'll now have to go in barehanded, or if you have gloves, just reach right in and just start pulling grass out until it fucking falls apart and just falls out of the basket. You then clear up all the grass clippings, if there's any. Like if it's wet, it's going to cling to the fucking sides. And so once it's clean, put the hatch back on, put the clasp on, lock it, pick it up, and then you set the pin in first, and then you let the hook rest, and that'll keep it level. And you rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat until you get the whole perimeter done. And then once that perimeter is done, then you can start going from one side, straight line to the other. You turn around, and you keep going back and forth. That's it. That's it. Over and over again. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is if there's fucking trees, or it's uneven ground, or fucking any fucking obstacle makes it a fucking nightmare. Especially uneven fucking ground. Because if you have uneven ground, the back tires aren't going to work properly. Take it from me. I've had to deal with it for the last 2 weeks. Actually, going on 2.5 weeks. Basically what happens is the only tires that move are the back tires. You have 2 mini ones on the fucking bin. That's to keep it leveled in case it's like really low to the ground. And then you have 2 swivel fucking wheels. And that's to catch onto anything. So like if there's a gap and they'll hit first, and then they'll level it, so that way, like, if you can even attempt to lift the fucking thing in time while it's moving, there you go. But basically what happens is, if you're going up a hill and you're going at an angle, or if if you're on the side of a hill, because I've done hills, I've just gone around in circles and just kept going, just spiraled my way all the way up to the top, and then disengaged the blades and then went down. Yeah, the fucking whatever side you're on, be it leaning towards the right with the basket leaning towards the ground instead of the summit of the hill, or the opposite, whatever side, it's not going to favor that wheel. It's not going to favor that wheel. So if I have the basket on the right of me and the base of the hill is to the left of me, and I'm going around, the right wheel is just going to keep trying to push you back down the hill. So what you need to constantly do is hold on to that brake. And that brake's not an easy brake. It's not an easy brake. It's like holding onto a fucking 15, 20-pound hand clamp for hand crunch exercises, which is a good thing that I do a lot of those on my days off. I do like 1,000 a day. So I'm used to fucking doing hand crunches. But, hitting fucking bumps and having to yank to keep it leveled and keep it straight so that fucking things don't fuck up on it, that kind of starts fucking with your shoulders, your back muscles, your chest muscles, your wrists, your waist, your ankle. Like, your whole body is contorting with this thing. Because it's about 200 pounds. And it's even heavier with a fucking basket full of grass. Or a bag full of grass. And so it gets difficult. It gets really fucking difficult, and it gets really pains-fucking-takingly annoying. And I've been doing it for 2.5 weeks, and there ain't going to be any stopping. We had a guy blow out a clutch last Thursday, in fact. I actually got to use it yesterday. Today I actually got to use the only one that's not broken in some regard. Like, for instance, oh god, the fact that the one that had the clutch that blew out, you have to take a wire and you have to plug it in to engage the blades. You have to. The left wheel doesn't work properly. It's just dead in the water. After a certain point, it'll just cease. It'll just lock up, seize up, and just not want to move. And you have to keep pumping the handbrake to try and kick it back into fucking gear. There's one where the belts are worn because you have little teeth that will just hold into the fucking pulley system. Those are just bare. They just hardly hold on to the pulley. So they'll start sliding off, which means you have to take a fucking cat's claw or a tire iron or a crowbar, anything long and metal that's skinny enough to get into where the bands are. You're going to have to go in there, pry them, and push them back into place. Basically, pop them back onto the fucking pulley. And you got to keep doing that over and over again. Then there's another one where it has no key. And when you turn it on, the blades immediately turn on. And there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. The handbrakes hardly work. The gears hardly work. I think she's locked in third gear or fourth gear, which means the entire time you're using it, you have to constantly hold on to those fucking brakes to slow it down. But the green one that I was using, the only John Deere fucking lawnmower that we use, that one's perfect. It's practically brand new compared to everything else. There's a little fucking gripes I have with it, but they're minor. Like the fact that the basket has to be by far the heaviest out of all the fucking baskets that we use. The fact that she's a gas guzzler. I think that's it. Those are the only two gripes I can think of. God, forgive me a second. I'm trying to fucking get some friends into this fucking chat. Lighter. I need a lighter. Me, I'm tired. I just want to sleep, but I can't. I really can't. Nope. Can't. I'm up 20 hours a day currently. Day in and day fucking out. Earning that fucking fiber. Earning that precious fucking green paper. I went to a doctor's appointment. Well, a follow-up Monday. Thursday I went to a doctor's appointment. I think I talked about this. Actually, what day was it? No, I'm not sure if I did talk about it. So Thursday I went to a doctor's appointment because I set up a doctor's appointment like 2-3 weeks ago. And it's like, well, I'm kind of busy right now with work, so I don't know when I'll be able to come out to actually go to the appointment. So set in advance that. Well, with the amount of work I've been doing, I mean, I've been working for fucking sometimes 7 at night, 8 at night. Kind of forgot. Also, my boss isn't there at fucking 8 o'clock at night. He leaves the shop around 5. So 9 times out of 10, he's gone. And the other times, I just want to get the fuck out of there as quickly as possible so I can take a shower and relax. Hours I have in my day, so I can like play a video game, to just cook something to eat. You know, instead of microwaving something. So appointment, they did the full fucking the workup. They took some blood, weighed me in. I'm 15 pounds underweight. 15 or 20 pounds underweight. They want me to put on an extra 15. I was doing pretty good. I think I gained 5 pounds a couple weeks ago, but I'm only eating one meal a day, if that. Sometimes I'll, like when I come home, I'll just snack on something like some chips. Chips or a candy bar, and then I pass out. Rinse and repeat. So that day, she fucking was sitting there, and my doctor just kept hissing and moaning and lecturing me about my body. Apparently, my shoulders are vastly worn out compared to my age demographic, because I'm 26. Apparently, I have as she put it, I have the shoulders of a 54-year-old. I think a 54-year-old. I guess the cartilage or whatever is like really fucking worn out because, I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting and just contorting my body to get into the angles I need to do my jobs. My left knee that I got into an accident with at work 2 years ago, that's not fully healed. In fact, that healed improperly. So that's adding some pain to me when I walk long distances, like walking all day from 5 to 7. So she gave me a prescription for some aspirin. I think it's 800. It's 800 milligrams. She gave me like 100 count. She told me to take one a day. If I have a bad pain day, take 2. Because she doesn't want to give me anything like opioids or anything hardcore like that. Because I told her I need to I'm operating fucking machinery. I can't be fucking dozing off, nodding out. Because I'm sure a perk 5 is probably gonna fucking knock me the fuck out. And I would know because I've taken perks and OCs or Oxycontin. That shit knocks me the fuck out. So, give me a second. I need a good smiley face. But basically my left knee is not doing too well. My shoulders aren't doing too well, and my back. She said my back's fine if I take it easy for a little while, and I'm not going to be taking it easy anytime fucking soon. I actually just fucking popped it. Just cracked my back anyways. She's also not fucking happy with my lungs. Apparently I have a very reduced lung capacity, and that's because of the smoking. She wants me to, if I'm not going to stop smoking, I should smoke filtered cigarettes. Because I'm not getting as much tar in my lungs if I'm smoking filtered. Nope, not doing it. Because that'll just, like, I've tried smoking filtered cigarettes, and I'll go through a pack in 2-3 days. Non-filtered Lucky Strikes are just really fucking good. They smell good. They have a nice punch to them. They're strong. A lot stronger than filtered cigarettes. Trust me, I've seen a lot of people try and fucking smoke them and get gagged. Plus, I can smoke them right down to probably a fucking ½ inch. Oh no, Christ, not even, yeah. I could smoke them probably to the length of a fucking fingernail. Like a normal fucking fingernail. Can't do that with a filtered cigarette. Plus, just the fact of fucking melting fucking fiberglass / plastics and inhaling that's kind of nah. No, thank you. So, she did a follow up with me Monday. She gave me back my test results. Other than that, other than the weight, shoulders, knee, back, and lungs, everything else seems fine. Clean as a whistle in all of the fields. So that's it. That's all. That's pretty much the most I've done lately. I actually, so I got to talk about this. Uh, so after I got out of the doctor's, since I wasn't working that day, I decided to go see a movie. I was gonna see it. I was gonna see it Saturday with some friends, but we stayed at a restaurant too long, so they had to flake. So we didn't get to go see the movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So Monday I was like, fuck it, I'm in the area. There's a cinema just down the street in a mall. I'll just go to the mall and grab something to eat, go shopping, and see the movie. So I watched Guardians. Um, my rating for it, 7.5 out of 10. Like, let's see, non-spoilers. Non-spoiler review for now. I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was a fluke. Not saying Guardians 2 is bad. I just feel like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 isn't isn't on par with it in some regards. Uh, Comedy for starters. There were a lot of jokes that just fell flat for me. Drax is hilarious though. He's actually funnier in this movie than he was in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, I think. Uh, Rocket's hit or miss here and there. Baby Groot's adorable. Fucking Star-Lord and Gamora, they're okay. Star-Lord's not as witty per se as he usually is, which kind of sucks. Kurt Russell's pretty good. The whole cast actually stays in character for the most part. But yeah, I just feel like Guardians 1 was a fluke. I had fun watching it. I did. I enjoyed watching it, but not as much as if I watched Guardians 1. Like, I don't know. It's hard to really put it into words. Like, with Guardians 1, there was this energy. There was an energy about the movie that made me just thoroughly enjoy it. I still say it's a 9 out of 10, or a strong 8.5 minimum out of 10. Music wise, yeah, a lot of the music that they were showing in the trailers and a lot of the music that James Gunn was saying that he was going to have in the movie are not in the movie. The Suite are never played. I didn't hear, like, I may have zoned out and wasn't listening to a song that may have been the Suite, but didn't hear any Suite. No David Bowie. James Gunn said he was going to have 2 David Bowie songs in it in honor for David Bowie passing away because he was his idol. None in the movie that I can think of. In fact, there's far less 80s, like between 60s and 80s music in this movie than there was in the first movie. There was a lot of iconic songs in Awesome Mix Volume 1. There's 5, 6 songs in Volume 2, Awesome Mix Volume 2, that you actually hear. In fact, a lot of the songs just keep being rehashed and played over again, which kind of sucks. And the reason why it sucks is that I was actually looking forward to seeing the Sweet kind of be revitalized. It's one of my favorite bands. I love the Sweet, and like I usually hate like I've mentioned it to friends of mine, like with Deadpool. Deadpool kind of killed some of the songs that I like listening to because a lot of people are going to brag, oh hey, like you know, I'm a fan of this band, even though I've only heard one song and it's the only song I like from them, and I'm never going to hear another song from this band because I just don't care. But like with the Sweet, I kind of wish that like the Sweet just got spotlight again. Um, it's a band you don't really hear about anymore. Like Black's like when Iron Man came out, everybody fucking downloaded fucking Iron Man and were talking about how much they love the song. And I understand. I'm a massive Sabbath fan. There's better songs than Iron Man. A lot better songs than Iron Man. But I was also kind of happy that Black Sabbath got into the spotlight because they're an underrated. I wouldn't say they're an underrated band. They're an underappreciated band. They're also the most fucked over band in history. That's a fact. But that's neither here nor there. Basically, a lot of the music I was expecting in the movie was not there. Like they had hooked on a feeling in the trailer for Guardians 1. It was on Awesome Mix Volume 1. It was played in the movie, which was good. Fox on the Run is played in the trailers. Not once is it played in the movie. Not even in the credits. It's not even mentioned. None of it. And if the Sweet gave gave permission for them to use in the trailer, I don't know why they didn't give like if it's like, oh well, they didn't give us permission, why not? They would have made a fuck ton of money off of this movie instantly. Instantly would have made a fuck ton of money. But apparently not. So that kind of lowered the fucking score for me when it comes to the movie. What's another thing? Whalers. Um, oh, fuck. I'm trying to think. Because, like, a lot of my gripes are spoiler related. Um, trying to think. Huh? It's not. It just isn't. Like, there's no way it can match up to Guardians 1. The spoilers. Oh boy. Um, there's no Infinity Stone. Let that sink in. There's no Infinity Stone. Cancel the app. I don't know what app it is. Anyways, so basically, I thought, hey, they're going to make Ego the Living Planet the fucking kind of like a pull of Star Wars. Basically, call Return of the Jedi Blue Harvest. Keep it silent from the fans, so the fans don't know who it actually is. So in the movie also, thankfully, the trailer did not show that much. So basically, in the movie, the giant fucking octopus-looking monster that you see in the trailers, that happens right at the very fucking beginning of the movie. Basically, the Guardians have been hired to take out an interdimensional horror that's going to try and devour a fucking set of batteries that are incredibly powerful and expensive. Emphasis on expensive. and powerful. So this interdimensional, basically everybody starts arguing, as the Guardians do. Drax is Drax is complaining about how he doesn't want to wear one of the jetpacks that Rocket has because he has sensitive nipples. Rocket and everybody start laughing at him. And Drax then complains about the fact that Star-Lord essentially is having Raccoon hook up a set of fucking speakers so that he can fight while he's listening to music. And Rocket has a new shtick where he tries to wink fucking with somebody, or he's sarcastic. And when he's setting it up, Peter's like, "No, I'm actually agreeing with Drax on this one for realsies. Playing music on this one's kind of not really a thing we should do. We should focus on trying to kill the damn thing." And so the thing falls down. They all start fighting it. Baby Groot is told to stay out of the fight, which he does. And Mr. Blue Sky, Bite Yellow, starts playing. And pretty much it's just Baby Groot dancing. That's it. Dancing around, chasing after fucking weird rat alien monsters. Seeing some of the Guardians get their asses handed to them while they're trying to stop this thing. And then finally, after I'd say 3-4 minutes, the speakers get broken, and then Drax dives into the fucking belly of the beast to try and kill it because he thinks, hey, it is impenetrable on the outside. Maybe it's not from the inside. And so he dives in and he tries killing it, and it does nothing. Then once they kill the beast, because Gamora was able to kill it, Rocket decides to steal the fucking batteries. Expensive. And so they go up to the council, and the council thanks them for their help, and then they hand over Nebula. Fucking Karen Gillian's character from the first movie, Gamora's sister. And she's handed over to them because that's the payment to the Guardians. And so they're bringing her in for a bounty so that she can rot in a Kree cell. There's some pseudo insults thrown to Star-Lord's way because of how arrogant he is and hot-headed. It's like there's some foreshadowing that's going to immediately be fucking like revealed right out the gate. So Rocket kind of gets annoyed. He insults that the priestess or whatever, and then they just leave. And Rocket shows Drax that he stole the batteries, and that they're gonna sell them because hey, they insulted us, might as well fuck them. So they get into ship and they start flying off, and they are immediately assailed by drones, ships from this fucking planet's armada. The entire fucking essentially a video game simulation. Bunch of people just sit leaning forward like they're on a motorcycle. They have a computer screen and they just keep shooting shit. But it's in real life. Everybody finds out that Rocket did that. They find out Rocket fucking stole the batteries. And everybody gets pissed off. And so they're like, well, how the fuck are we going to try and evade these things? Because they're kind of fucking up our ship. So they go through a quantum asteroid field. And Rocket and Peter have a dick measuring contest. And that's an actual fucking fact because Gamora calls them out on like a dick measuring contest after. So they start fucking talking about how they're the best pilot and how they can pilot. They've been piloting since they were this age, and Rocket says that he was fucking created to pilot ships. And essentially, they're able to evade most of the fleet, and then they realize that the bulk of it just went around the fucking thing and eviscerates the ship. And before they can have any killing blow done to them, some weird white pod just annihilates the entire thing, and Rocket sees somebody on top of the ship wave hello as they jump to get out of there. And so they jump, they crash land a la fucking Star Trek Beyond. This whole ship rips in two, and everybody starts arguing again. And right after that, fucking Kurt Russell's character shows up, and his name is Ego, and Mantis is with him. He states that he's Peter's father, and that he's been looking for him for 34 years, blah, 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 blah. And I'm gonna speed it up. The plot is incredibly thin on some level. So we got to backtrack for a second. Before the very beginning, where we actually see the Guardians, we're shown in Missouri in 1980 with Kurt Russell and Peter's mother. And they go to a Dairy Queen in Missouri. They're madly in love. They're driving around. I will say the effects to making Kurt Russell look younger is insanely good. And he tells her, "Hey, I got to show you something." He leads her into the forest, and he shows her an alien plant. And he's like, "I can't believe it actually took root." And they're all over the place. They're all over the galaxy, and they're all over planets. And she's like, "I can't believe I'm madly in love with, or I'm hooking up, or madly in love with a spaceman." And then that's it, hard cut. So basically, Ego, the living planet, is in fact Ego, the living planet. He convinces Drax, Gamora, and Peter to go with him to his planet, Ego. And when they get there, he reveals to them that he is a Celestial. He was millions upon millions of years ago a glowing, floating brain. And over millions of years, he was able to learn how to control and manipulate matter and bend it to his will. So basically, he slowly cocooned himself in matter, which slowly, just layer upon layer was added, and it turned into the planet that he has now, which is about, he even states it's around the size of the moon. And so he's showing them around to what he was doing, where basically Ego, after millions of years never encountering anybody, decides, "Hey, I want to try and find life." And so he does. And so he encounters life, and then not too long later, he met Peter's mother, fell in love with Peter's mother, and bam, had a baby. One of the best jokes that I liked was Drax's bluntness, where he was like, "How did you have a child without a penis?" And Peter just gets all fucking confused and embarrassed and awkward. He's like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Your mother, he would require a penis." "Does he have a penis?" "Actually, Drax, yes, I do have a penis. One, if you don't mind me bragging." And Drax is like, "Oh, interesting." So basically, he's taken on this human form, and he has a half celestial son, which is Peter. And he tells him that he's essentially immortal. Peter's essentially immortal. He's highly resistant to things, and while he's on the planet, he is able to manipulate the light of the planet, which is basically Ego's essence. And when they do a play off of something that Peter had mentioned to Gamora earlier in the movie, when they're flying. I believe when they're flying to Ego's planet, or when they were on the planet before they had the fucking slideshow. And yes, there is technically kind of like a slideshow going on. Basically, he told them that he would watch the kids when he was younger playing catch with their dads, and that's all he's ever wanted to do with his dad was to play catch. So when Ego is showing him how to manipulate this energy, he forms a ball and they both play fucking catch, which is pretty funny. I kind of like that, like especially Kurt Russell's delivery of I loved your mother and I love you, and I want to be the father she imagined me to be. And then bam, they're playing fucking catch with an energy ball, having a blast. But basically, at this point, Groot, Nebula, and Rocket are still at the ship repairing it, and basically, Yondu gets banished from the Ravagers because they find out that he's been dealing with kids, which is a no-no for the Ravagers. They don't deal in anything that deals with children. I'm guessing killing children, kidnapping children, etc. So he's banished. And Sly Stallone is in the movie. Oh god, I forgot the character's name, but he's a Guardians of the Galaxy character. One of the other Guardians teams. So he comes in, he basically tells him, like, you're banished from the Ravagers. But Yondu has a fucking following, like a really strong following from all of his crew. So they follow him, and they're going to go get Star-Lord. They're going to capture Peter and the rest of the Guardians and fuck him over. And so they track down Ship. They go there. Rocket fucking has set up booby traps because he knew they were coming. He distracts them, and then finally he's held at gunpoint by the rest of the crew of the Ravager. And when they all start talking about what they're going to do to him, Simmons like, no, we're not going to kill them. And that pisses everybody off. But he does point out something. If they were to kill the Guardians of the Galaxy, there'd be no place for them to hide or be safe in the galaxy because of what the Guardians did in the first movie and what they've been doing in the last few months, because this movie takes place a few months later. And so this upcoming asshole decides he's gonna pull a mutiny, tired of him basically giving chances to Peter. I forgot the other dude's name. He's the sheepishly Southern hick. He's because he's been standing up for Yondu throughout the movie thus far in the subplot. He finally relinquishes that, and he's like, every time like Peter's done something that's fucked you over, you never fucking batted an eye to it. Never. But like when we fuck up, it's a hard, like it's like the end of the world, and I'm tired of it. And so this big bad ornery asshole fucking takes over the ship, and he does some pretty heinous shit. He pushes all of fucking Yondu's supporters out into an airlock, and you actually get to see them slowly freeze to death and die from the vacuum of space. They torture Groot by putting him in a cute little Ravager outfit and then dumping alcohol on him. Yondu gets his fin blown out by Nebula because Groot is tricked into releasing her so she can save Rocket. And she joins the Ravagers just to get an outfit in a ship. And she flies off because she's going to try and kill Gamora. So Yondu doesn't have his fin anymore. He got blown out. He's put into the hold with Rocket. Both of them try and get Groot to get a new prototype fin. And this is kind of a drag, this section, because Groot keeps fucking up. First he brings like a cup, or he brings a desk, or a hat, so on and so forth. There was a funny one where he brought a human toe for Yondu and Rocket, but finally he does get the fin. And that's after being caught by the Hick. And he redeems himself. He apologizes. He says he never meant it to be a mutiny. He was just frustrated. He hands Yondu the fin, and Yondu now has a fin that kind of looks like his original fin from the comic books. And him and Rocket and Groot decide to fucking eviscerate and kill everybody on the ship except for this Hick dude, who's now going to get the secondary ship that'll disengage from the whole Ravager ship that they're on. And the big bad ornery dude's name is Taserface. And when all of Yondu's crew were being killed off, Rocket was making fun of him because Taserface is not an intimidating name. And Taserface is hired by Yondu and his crew were hired by the chick, the priestess from the fucking planet that the Guardians worked for, so they could recover the batteries. And so Yondu doesn't want to do that, because if they do, they're going to be killed, and they're going to be blamed along with these people that killed fucking the Guardians. Taserface is going to bring them in for the bounty. He then messages her and tells her that Taserface has been defeated by Rocket Raccoon and Yondu, and the chick that's on the view screen starts laughing at him right before he dies in a fiery explosion as the whole ship goes up. And Yondu, the Hick, Baby Groot, and Rocket immediately head towards Ego's planet. There's some lovers' quarrel between Gamora and Peter. Peter's kind of happy that he has his father now. Gamora's kind of giving him the fucking the rational fucking reasoning of it's kind of suspicious that he's this perfect guy on an idyllic planet, blah 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 blah. And so she gets upset that he's now found his family, even though he said that they were a family, like the Guardians. So tracks her down, immediately chases after her, and starts trying to kill her. Both of them fight. Gamora saves her life again, and we have a heart-to-heart where Nebula only wanted a sister, and Gamora wanted to just win. And Gamora tells her that I was doing it because I was afraid of dying to Thanos. And so they kind of start fixing that bridge, and they immediately fall into a fucking cavern that is filled to the brim with skeletons. And we find out the big plot twist. Ego has been hiring Yondu to kidnap his offspring. He has gone from planet to planet to planet, planting seeds and impregnating a woman on this planet or whatever planet he goes to. And then once they've reached a certain age, they're captured by Yondu, brought to his planet. And on this planet, they are tested to see if they have the celestial abilities that he has. And if they don't, they are killed. Every single one has been killed except for Peter. Peter is, for whatever reason, he's able to harness it. And so he's going to be used as a living battery to power Ego's insane plan. These plants are going to grow over the planets that they're planted on, which will then turn them into extensions of Ego's consciousness. Hundreds of these planets, if not thousands. And basically he wants the whole universe to just be him. And he brainwashes Peter. Peter's seeing the vision of this perfection and blah, 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 blah. And then comes one of the biggest gripes I have with the movie. And it's not even this second plot twist. The second plot twist is while he's sitting there, he's talking about his dream. This is his purpose. He's been thinking about this for eons, trying to find meaning and stuff. Okay, yeah, I all right. I can see it kind of. But then you're sitting there and you're like, well, wait a minute. Like, because Peter asked, well, why did you leave my mother? Like, if you loved her so much about her, why do you leave? And so he talks about how, in fact, she was the one. She, like, absolutely madly in love with her. And so as he's sitting there talking to Peter about it, while Peter's cut like this weird fucking black eye shit going on because he's under this mind control. Kurt Russell says the stupidest fucking thing. I just don't know. I just don't fucking know why anybody, any antagonist would do this. You have the main hero in your clutches. The rest of his people are being captured. There's no way they're going to be able to stop him. There's no way they're going to stop you. And so he sits there and he's like, yep, she's the love of my life. It's a damn shame I had to put a brain tumor in her head. And when I heard that, at first, I was like, oh, that's fucked up. But then the rational part of my brain's like, wait, why would you say that? He's Play-Doh in your fucking hands. Like Peter at the beginning, when he first met his father, was yelling at him about how, like, I had to watch, like, you loved her so much, but you left her. I had to watch her die. She was everything to me. So you kind of know. You kind of know, Kurt Russell. You know, Ego. Like, you kind of know that talking about mommy is going to be pushing a fucking button you don't want to push. But he does it anyways. And immediately, this snaps Peter out of the fucking brainwash. He pulls out his guns and immediately guns fucking Ego down. Until he's nothing but like this fucking half disintegrated figure. And he slowly starts growing back, kind of like Dr. Manhattan. Like you see a skeletal frame, muscles, nerves, veins, etc. And then his skin comes back and he's like, what the hell is wrong with you? He's like, you killed my mother, asshole. It's on. So they start fighting. And so Mantis tells Drax, who they then meet up with fucking Gamora and Nebula, and they know about the fucking skeletons that are inside the fucking one of the caverns of the planet. And so they all go to fucking meet up with Peter, and they start helping him fight. And immediately, Rocket, Yondu, Groot, Rocket, Groot, and Yondu come flying down in a fucking mining ship. A little small mining ship that comes off the fucking ship that they took from the Ravager ship. While the Hick is up in space. Just in case. They immediately just crash right into fucking Ego. And there's a nice little reunion. Everybody's having fucking fun talking to each other. There's a few quips here and there. And then fucking they all get dragged down into this giant cavernous fucking core that is Ego's planet. See Ego's face, kind of like he does in the comic books because he's pissed off now. Mantis is an empath. And at the beginning of the movie, when we're introduced to her, she stopped, and it's in the trailer, she talks about how she can touch people and sense their feelings and read their feelings. And so everybody asks, like, why does Ego have you? And she's essentially a pet. And she puts him to sleep. Like, she'll put her hand on his head and she'll keep him asleep. As long as she's touching him, she can keep him asleep. And I guess that's the concern. Like, they never really go fully into depth as to why he needs to sleep when he's a fucking immortal energy being that can manipulate matter. But who knows? So basically, his nervous system is all over the fucking place like vines. and Drax tells her to put him to sleep. So she puts him to sleep. Rocket assembles the batteries that he stole at the beginning of the movie into a bomb. He's able to basically, they have the mining ship kind of drill a hole as best they can. And when this is going on, the Priestess has sent in a new fleet to try and kill the Guardians. And so the mining ship is only able to basically Ego's brain, Ego himself, which is just a floating brain, kind of like the ones from fucking Futurama. He is in a giant, heavily dense fucking nugget, the very middle, like the core of this planet. And so the mining ship is only able to mine just so far in. And there's a little crack, like a little crevice, big enough for Rocket and Groot to climb in. And so they start working on that. And so while this is going on, Yondu's flying his ship with Nebula inside. Gamora, Drax, and Mantis are dealing with shit that's like dealing with shit on the ground because they're not in the ship. And Peter's flying around with his jetpack, shooting at the drones. And so while Peter, and you've seen it in the trailers, Peter and fucking Rocket are arguing. Rocket tries talking to fucking Groot and telling him how to fucking start the sequence to activate the bomb, and Groot just runs off. And the thing is, Groot never yells, "I am Groot," while he's climbing through the hole. He just disappears. And so what happens is, oh god, I'm trying to think. So basically, Nebula and Peter are in the ship. Basically, Peter flies in because he can't handle how many drones are firing at him at once. And Gamora and Drax can only look from the distance while they're dodging the enemy fire, and the ship blows up. And Gamora freaks out. She yells out Peter's name because she's in love with him. Go figure. I kind of knew this was going to happen in the next movie. And Drax freaks out. And Mantis is immediately hit by a chunk of fucking debris, which made the whole audience laugh. Made me laugh out loud because it's just abrupt and out of nowhere. And then comes another thing that made me laugh, which was Yondu is holding on to his arrow, and Peter's floating down as well. And Yondu just looks at him. He's like, "What?" And he's like, "You look like Mary Poppins." And he does. Yondu floating down looked like fucking Mary Poppins. And he starts cheering that he's Mary Poppins because he thinks it's this badass from Earth. So with Mantis knocked out, Ego wakes up. Shocker. And in comes a big bad battle. Final boss. Because all the drones get destroyed. Wait. Yeah, I think all the drones got destroyed in that. Right before the big fight, all the drones get destroyed. And so Yondu calls down Hick. Hick lands the ship. Basically, everybody's going to climb off the planet and just run away from Ego. That's Yondu's plan. Just escape the planet. Fuck Ego. We'll find a way out of here. Everybody's having trouble doing this because, the whole planet is Ego. Drax is able to just barely climb up to the surface with a knocked out Mantis and try and get to Hick, and he's dragged under because Ego can control shit. And Peter uses the power of the light of the planet and fights fire with fire. Fighting. That draws the attention from the others. They're able to get onto the ship. Groot is able to activate the bomb successfully with a 5-minute countdown. And Oh God, what was it that happened? Oh, before. So I got to backtrack a little bit because this is actually a big. This is probably one of the biggest spoilers, and it's one of the big one. Another gripe I have with the movie. So Rocket this entire time has had a stick up his ass. He's always insulting everyone. He's basically an asshole, a professional asshole, and everybody keeps mentioning that he's a professional asshole for a living. Just how they are. So Yandu calls him out on it. And he's like, you know why I know that you're fucking afraid? You want to know why I know that, like, you can't handle what the fuck's going on right now? It's because I'm you. And you're me. I've done the same shit you've done. So he kind of fucking snaps Rocket out of it. Just enough. And so while Peter's fighting his father, Yondu looks at Rocket and tells him it's time, like, basically, like, I'm gonna need your spare pack, your spare spacesuit, and your rocket pack. And he looks at him. He's like, "All right, here you go, one of each. That's all I got." And so when everybody's on board except for Peter and Yondu, Gamora starts freaking out, and she's like, "We can't leave Yondu and fucking Peter behind." As the as the loading ramp's closing, and Rocket literally sits there and says, he knocks her out with I think like a fucking stun charge. He's like, sorry, I can't lose more than one friend today. And so Peter is able to hold his father back. The bomb goes off successfully, kills Ego. Peter loses his celestial abilities apparently for some reason. Don't know how, don't know why. But Yondu immediately comes in, slaps the spacesuit onto him, which is like a glowing blue shell or energy field around the body. And he has a rocket pack on, and he just starts flying upwards while the planet starts just caving in on itself. And Peter just kind of snaps out of it and realizes what the fuck's going on. And and as the planet's collapsing, Yondu says, he may have been your father, but he ain't your daddy. Basically stating that, like, because throughout the movie, Yondu's been trying to be nicer to Peter and explaining himself. And the reason why he didn't give Peter over to Ego was he realized what Ego was doing. And he didn't want that to happen to Peter. And we actually see images when Peter's trying to snap out of the mind control of Yondu being a father to him, teaching him how to shoot a pistol, fucking showing him the ropes on how to steal, that sort of thing. And so Yondu was essentially Peter's father. And when Peter realizes that they're in space, he sees Yondu freezing to death and suffocating. And Yondu dies, saving Peter's life. And the Hick is able to pull up. He's able to grab both of them, bring them aboard. Yondu can't be resuscitated. And so they have a funeral service. And yeah, fucking Yondu dies. And I don't like that. I don't. I really don't fucking like that Yondu dies. Because I actually liked Yondu. He's one of my favorite characters from Guardians. And because of his sacrifice, all of the Ravagers that exiled him come to the funeral. And fucking God, it is so 80s, like Transformers animated movie 80s. Yondu's ashes turn into a sparkling road of sorts that turns into the shape of his whistling arrow. And all the Ravager ships start firing off fireworks and saluting him off. Because he's earned his colors, as the Ravagers say. And so Peter comes to accept that, yeah, Yondu was his father and he loved him. Rocket accepts that, yes, the Guardians are his family. Groot starts growing into being a teenager. Drax is just Drax. Mantis joins. Nebula joins the Guardians. Gamora finally opens up to Peter about their relationship and how they like just them. Because throughout the movie, Peter's been calling her out on this unspoken thing that they have between each other that she just won't open up about or show. So she's like, fine, whatever, we're gonna show it because I actually do love you. And also, Stanley's is Uatu the fucking Watcher, baby. Also, they showed Howard the Duck twice in the movie. So, here's one of the biggest fucking retcon inconsistency things, and I guess this is a third gripe. Another big gripe I have. Adam Warlock. So in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the Collector has a giant fucking cocoon with an Infinity Stone in its fucking in the top of it. That's Adam Warlock. In the comics, Adam Warlock is a weird golden, white-eyed fucking like energy being thing that has a cocoon stage. It's his hibernation, like regenerative ability. Like he just solidifies himself in a cocoon. When he's fully regenerated, he bursts out. So at the end of that movie, when the Infinity Stone explodes, yes, and he also mentioned being a librarian in, I think, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, he mentioned a couple of times where he's like, yeah, this one time I was a fucking librarian, and this one I was this. So, so at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, when they introduce Howard the Duck, the cocoon's open. It's burst open. The little gem that was there is gone. So a lot of fans of the Guardians of the Galaxy know of Adam Warlock, and they were like, oh shit, Adam Warlock is going to be in the next movie because he's out now. He has the soul gem. That's the last stone we need in the movies. Because we have every other stone besides the soul gem. So, apparently he's a robot or a clone thing hybrid, because the priestess from the planet they started off with at the beginning of this movie, they breed. They do selective breeding. Basically, everybody that is bred is born to a specific thing. So if you're like kind of like the Kryptonians from Man of Steel, basically you're born as like a scientist, a warrior, or a civilian, or a worker, or royalty. And so when you're born, when you're bred under that fucking caste, and then you're raised to be part of that caste, and that's it. You can't move up or down. So basically, she has created Adam Warlock. And it's like, wait, what? He was in the first movie. What are you talking about? Why are you naming him Adam? So now, I don't know. I don't know if this means we're going to have two Adam Warlock analogs. One of them actually being Adam Warlock. The other one's just looks and acts like him, but he's only in name alone, or just name alone. I don't know. Also, Thanos makes no appearance in this movie at all. And that's why I gave the movie a 7.5 out of 10. Well, that's the fucked up thing, Sten. Like, basically, Sten said, I think the thing for the first movie was meant to be an Easter egg and not meant to be anything. Well, here's the thing, Sten. 2. Iron Man 2, Cap's shield. Like, that's the fucked up thing about these Marvel movies now. The Easter eggs, like 95 to 98% of the time, the Easter eggs are actually a thing that are going to lead to another thing. Like, oh god, I think it's in Iron Man 2, they mentioned Roxxon, which is a major villain corporation, or a corporation that makes supervillains. That's in the Netflix series. Cap's shield. Oh god. Iron Man 2 mentions Thor. There's a lot of nods, there's just a lot of Easter eggs back and forth. Yeah. Like, it's kind of suspicious. It's kind of suspicious that they would pan to, and here's the other thing. It wasn't just in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 that Adam Warlock was in. He was also shown very close to the camera in Thor 2 when they're bringing the Collector the Aether after they've contained it. He's just chilling there. So he's in Thor 2, he's in Guardians 1, and they pan the camera towards him because I think it's Groot that just examines Adam Warlock's cocoon, and then they slowly pan through the destruction, and like one of the biggest glaring things that are sticking out is Adam Warlock's cocoon has been burst out. Like, there's, oh god, I think his name's Cosmo, the cosmonaut dog that can talk and he's telepathic. Like, he shows up in the movie. He's only in it for like 15, 20 seconds. He ain't in 2 movies. That's the reason why, like, that made me go, wait, what? Why would you use the same, like, Easter egg in 2 different movies, then show that the egg is, like, the cocoon has hatched? If you're just going to be like, oh, we're making Adam fucking Warlock in this right now. Because there's no other comic book character I know of from the Guardians mythos that fits the description of a cocoon with a glowing pink gem. That's what some of my friends have said. Some of my friends have theorized that maybe Adam came back, but then like a lot of their theories don't make sense because the chicks clearly, like the chicks, because it's 2 chicks talking at the end of the movie where they show Adam Warlock. One of them points out, like, oh, Priestess, like, you've used the cloning vats. You've made a perfect being outside of the norm. And she's like, yes, he is incredibly strong and powerful, and his sole purpose is to kill the Guardians of the Galaxy. I shall call him Adam. And then we see like this weird fucking mechanical pod that has him, like, Adam Warlock inside, but we don't know it's Adam Warlock or what he looks like. But we know it's going to be Adam fucking Warlock because Adam Warlock has golden skin, and the people of this planet are just nothing but golden skin with white hair. Adam Warlock has golden hair, white hair, golden skin, and I think golden eyes or white eyes. For the longest time, I thought that Adam Warlock was going to be the main villain of this movie. A lot of people thought that. And then they were like, oh, hey, no, it's Ego, the living planet. It's going to be in the movie. It's like, okay. He's not really a villain. So What's your point, Marvel? And they're like, oh, you'll see. Oh, you'll see. You'll all see. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, they didn't have enough time. Here's something that I know, like it vastly changed the tone of the movie and changed a lot of the comedy that I liked. Make swap Mantis with Adam. Ego is a all the I am Groots in the credits. I saw that. If I remember correctly, James Gunn and Vin Diesel were the only two people in production that had English lines for Groot. Yeah, it would have been a better choice to use Adam over Mantis because the Soul Gem. It would totally explain everything. Like if you were to remove the whole evil, like I'm going to plant like my seeds in the planets and just do all this. Like if you were just to remove that, movie would have been vastly more interesting to me. Basically, have Adam Warlock just randomly crash land on Ego or Ego's planet, encounters Ego. Ego finds out that he has a soul gem. And the soul gem being, I believe, one of the most powerful fucking gems of the Infinity Stones or the Infinity Gems, have that corrupt Ego. Just do that. Have it slowly corrupting him over time during the movie. That way, you don't have this big fucking ham-fisted, oh yeah, I put a brain tumor in your mother. I'm evil. Even though I was madly in love with her, I had to do this plan of being evil. So I had to do something really, really evil and mean. Just have it so like he's like, I was madly in love with your mother, but I couldn't stay. Because he even states like if he's gone too long from the light, shit goes south with him. Like shit goes south. So you could totally have it so that it's like, oh well, if I'm gone for too long, like my power fades, or I'll age rapidly, or I'll just die. And so like the longer I stayed away from it, the weaker I got. And so I had to go into a hibernation mode or something. I had to sleep for a decade or something. And by the time I came back to Earth, you had been taken. No, not even you had been taken. Like when I came back, she was dead. She was just dead. And I was so heartbroken I left. But then I found out that like you were born. So I tried to get you here to protect you because we're celestials. There you go. Make him a tragic character. Like I get like the whole Yondu thing. I'd try and fucking put that back into it somehow. Hell, Adam Warlock's a villain. Have Adam Warlock kill his father and Yondu. Have Adam Warlock be the final villain, and you're like, this was my whole plan all along. To revitalize the soul gem with the heart of a celestial. The soul of a celestial. Then he puts the fucking gem back in his forehead and bam. There you go. Fucking goddamn Adam Warlock. And he's got one of the most powerful fucking gems in the goddamn canon. Would have worked. Would have worked. Would have been far better. And as I said earlier, I think Guardians 1 was a fluke. I honestly do. Because James Gunn's the only one writing the story. He's the only one writing the story. So if this movie, like, if you're writing the fucking story by your fucking self, and I'm not liking it, like, that's all on you. It is doing rather well. Like, I'm glad Guardians 2 is doing well. I don't want, like, it to bomb. Like I said, it's a 7.5 out of 10 from me. But, like, I just don't like it as much as the first, which is insane. Usually, like insane to me because I usually like the sequels better than the originals or the first of an installation. Like, I enjoy Aliens vastly more than Alien. Ross of Game Dungeon actually pointed out quite poignantly why Aliens is better. In Alien, the first half is great, where they're building up the suspense and all that. But basically with Alien, first half's great. I agree with Ross on that. It builds up the suspense and the tension and the mystery of what the fuck the xenomorph is. But then it's spooky alien. Nothing. Spooky alien. Like, that's all, that just rinse and repeat, where it's just a fucking, they see the alien, it kills somebody, or it tries to kill somebody, they run away, they're all freaking out, then they search for the fucking thing again, and then they see it again. Aliens has the same first half, building up the suspense, the tension, the mystery as to what the fuck happened at Hadley's Hope. And then as soon as we see the aliens, it is a non-stop survival flick. There's barely any fucking breathing room. Even when you're given breathing room, it's still tense and suspenseful. Because the aliens are trying to get into the bunker, the fortifications they've put up. They're testing it. So while they're sitting there talking, while Ripley is tucking Newt into bed and putting a heater next to her to keep her warm, trying to get in. When Ripley's being taught by Hicks how to fire a pulse rifle, the xenomorphs are trying to get in. That overbearing sense of dread is still in the movie. I like that. Like, a lot of sequels will take what was great with the first movie, that they'll trim it up so that it's even better. So if you didn't like say you didn't like how Groot was too dumb or too naive in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, then what they should have done is they should have just removed that or lessened it. Kind of like with Jar Jar Binks, where they just slowly moved him out of the fucking movies until he was just there. He was just standing around in Revenge of the Sith. That's why I think Revenge of the Sith is my favorite, because some of the shit gets removed. Like, I enjoy the story. I just have my gripes, as I do with everything. Like, I have gripes with a lot of movies, and I like nitpicking things. Like, I could nitpick Aliens or the first Terminator movie. I actually think the first Terminator movie is better than the second movie. Fight me, everyone who watches this. Fight me on that. T1 better than T2. Hands down. Reason why? Michael fucking Biehn as Kyle motherfucking Reese. Kyle Reese sells the idea to you. Kyle Reese and Michael Bihn's amazing, outstanding acting in that movie fucking totally sells it that he is a warrior from the future in a hellscape of a post-apocalyptic setting. He's scared. He's trying to keep things together. He's trying to keep the composure of a soldier. Just the fucking on switch that Michael Biehn has to change personalities. Like, if you've ever wanted to see some of the deleted scenes, look at the one where Sarah actually talks about blowing up Cyberdyne systems. The bright idea of, hey, if the future's not set in stone, let's blow up Cyberdyne systems. Because they make Skynet in a few years. So if we blow it up, they can't make Cyberdyne. They can't make Skynet. And Kyle's like, that's not part of my mission. You from the Terminator. And she's like, well, fuck the mission. Let's do that. Because then we won't have to keep running away. And when Kyle's like, no, we're not. We're going to this hotel, and that's where we're going to be until we can find a safe place to bunker down. She tries running away from him, and he chases after her into the woods. And immediately, she punches him in the face, and when he falls back, he recoils, pulls out his gun instinctively, in like a fraction of a second, pulls the hammer back, and he aims at her. He's in soldier mode. And then immediately he snaps out of that conditioning, and he realizes that what he was about to do was kill fucking Sarah Connor. The love of his life and his fucking commanding officer's, like, mother. And then he breaks down because he doesn't belong in the fucking past. Because he's never seen trees or grass or what, like clean water or birds chirping or the sun. And he breaks down because he can't handle that. It's an assault to his senses. All in one deleted scene. And it's like, That, like, just Kyle Reese's character carries that whole movie. Like, oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger got big off of that. Should have been Michael fucking Biehn that got the fucking credit for that movie. Here's a sequel I like that apparently people argue about. Vastly superior than the original. Knights of the Old Republic. And if you say otherwise, you're just wrong. Wrong. So wrong. Fucking Christ. Google Hangouts. God damn it. Anyways, KOTOR 2, in its buggy, misshapen, half complete, like half finished version that we got on launch, destroys Knights of the Old Republic 1. There's no way you can convince me otherwise. And I'll break it down for you. Number one, the characters. The characters are vastly more deep and personal and interesting in KOTOR 2 than in KOTOR 1. You give me the backstory of any of those characters, I could probably talk 3 to 4 times as long about one of the characters in your party in KOTOR 2. Fucking Malik is a shitty villain. He's so, oh my god, Malik is such a stock fucking villain. I played exactly. You spend vastly more time with the one with your party in 2 than you do in 1, and there is so much history, backstories that you can you organically open it up. So, like, when you're on Nar Shaddaa with Atten, and you meet up with you'll see 2 Trandoshan characters. I think they're 2 Trandoshans or 2 Kesians. I forget what the name of they are. Basically, you see 2 aliens, and I think it's in the Jektar, the gas bar. I think that's where it is. Basically, they mention to you, like, hey, you better watch out with the one named Atten. Is that, like, you better watch out that charming smuggler you got with you. And when you're like, Atten? Oh, no. It's the refugee quarter. That's where it is. The refugee quarter is where they warn you. And so when you go, Atten? You mean him? They immediately go, oh, is that what he's calling himself now? You best be careful. And so when you go back to your ship, or if he's with you in your party, you can talk to him and be like, hey, a couple guys in Nar Shaddaa were talking about you, and they told me to watch out. And he'll get really defensive. persuade and you ease into it, you get to learn a really fucking dark background to add. Like, the villains. Malik is a stock villain. He's just a Darth Vader knockoff. Kreia, Darth Nihilus, like Darth Sion. Darth Sion is an immortal who's held together through the sheer will of his hate. That has, because I played KOTOR 2 before I played KOTOR 1. I was so enthralled with 2 over 1 because of how mysterious everything was. They kept referencing a Revan. Revan went to the Mandalorian Wars. Revan fought during the Jedi Civil War. He almost brought down the galaxy. He was redeemed. And he led the Republic into a valiant charge against the Starforge, where he killed his former apprentice Malik in one-on-one combat. Did that, he just left the known galaxy, and no one has seen him since. And I'm sitting there going, this motherfucker sounds like a badass. I want to know more about Revan. Like, when I went onto the fucking the Harbinger, I think that's the name of the ship, the Republic ship that docks with Paragus, the Paragus 2. I think it's Paragus 2 mining facility. Like, when you go to the medical logs and the medical officer is sitting there, and she's like, his skin's all flaky and fragmented, and from the bio readings, his bones are splintered. They're just shards and just splinters, and they've been pieced back together. I don't know what's keeping him together. As soon as just the imagery of this guy being so heinously fucking just enthralled by the dark side, that his body, his literal bones have splintered over the years, decades, centuries, however fucking old he is. He's been in so much fighting. He has fought for so long, and he's just held together by his sheer, unadulterated hate. Fight me. Because I was like, that motherfucker is somebody that I'm not going to want to deal with. Darth Nihilus is a literal fucking black hole in humanoid form. He devours planets. He sees everything as little lights off in the distance. And the more lights there are on a planet, the more food there is. And like a moth to the flame, he goes there, and then he fucking devours it, Galactus style. And then you have Kreia. Kreia's a fucking just a manipulative old bag. She manipulates your character into luring out the Jedi so she can kill the Force because she fucking despises the Force. That existentialism. That's enough. I'll bring this up. The story and themes of KOTOR 2 vastly decimate everything fucking KOTOR 1 tries to throw out. Oh, a redemption story. Bam! Fucking existentialism and the fucking use of the Force. And the pros and cons, and we're just gonna take everything that people love about Star Wars, the Force and the Jedi. Yeah, we're gonna drag them out of the fucking dark hole that they've been like under this rock that they've been living under. We're gonna drag them out to the fucking light, and we're gonna show you how hypocritical and how they are. We're going to make you question whether or not the Jedi deserve to be wiped out or not. And at some point, you're going to agree with Kreia. That has to be the most powerful thing about the game. At some point, you agree with Kreia. plays that game will agree with Kreia at some point, especially if you played KOTOR 1. Especially if you played KOTOR 1. Or if you just watched the fucking movies. Especially the prequels. The exile is banished. So basically, for anybody who's never played KOTOR 2, this is going to be a big old... Well, this ain't even a big old spoiler. So, game's been out for like, what, 12 years now? 11 or 12 years. I think 2005 was when it came out. 2004. It's been a long time. So basically, the Mandalorian Wars were basically the Mandalorians attacked the Outer Rim because they wanted more land, they wanted to fight, they wanted honor, and they're space barbarians. Basically, they were wiping out the Republic in droves by the millions, just wiping out planet after planet, glassing it, burning them, enslaving the population of the planet to be used as weapon-producing slaves or to process minerals, what have you. They were causing untold atrocities across the Outer Rim. The Jedi did nothing. Want to get involved in the Mandalorian War. And Revan got pissed off at this and said, you know what? Fuck the Jedi Council. The Republic needs us. We need to go out there and save lives because millions are dying. And so a lot of fucking Jedi apprentices and a lot of Jedi masters and knights followed Revan. And the exile, your character, was one of them. General. And you helped just cleanse the Outer Rim. You were on a jihad against the Mandalorians. And because of you being a tactical genius and Revan being a tactical genius, along with other generals from the Republican Jedi, you were able to coordinate one of the most brutal campaigns. And you had the Mandalorians on the run immediately once you hit the first battlefield. And so at the end of it, Core 5, you activate a weapon of mass destruction called the mass generators. I think that's the name for them. Or the mass drive generators or something like that. Oh God. I think it's mass generators. Or dark mass energy. I think it's dark mass energy generators or something. Anyways, you activate the weapon while Jedi are fighting Mandalorians ship to ship. Like there's a big space battle going on, and there's a big battle going on the planet. And the Mandalorians. This is all that's left of the Mandalorian armada. So you activate that, killing untold thousands, hundreds of thousands on this planet. It's as if Alderaan had just been blown up in front of you. And you feel an echo in the Force. A painful echo. And the echo is so intense because you're at the epicenter that it could have killed your character. And so your character severs their tie to the Force. You literally deafen yourself to the Force to survive this. After the Mandalorians are killed, Revan fucks off, goes into the unknown regions with a lot of the Padawans and Jedi that are still following him for more the remaining a wound. And so they claim that they're going to be looking for more Mandalorians when in fact he's going to train them in the dark side of the Force. Your character, however, decides to go back to Coruscant to answer to the Council. And here comes my biggest gripe and why I agree with Kreia that the Jedi are arrogant and don't deserve to be part of the galaxy, and they're actually a fucking detriment to the galaxy. And it's basically to do with the leaders. Your character is exiled, even though even though your character, and they even state it in the council, during the council meeting. Yeah, that's later revealed in the second game as well. But basically, the council even says, like, you, out of all the people that followed Revan to war, the only one that returned. You were the only one that returned to face it, like, punishment. And they exile you. They're like, we're stripping you of your rank. You're no longer a Jedi. You're going down the path of the dark side. Would a dark sider literally walk in on fucking 6 of the most powerful Jedi masters on the fucking High Council of the Jedi Order? Because I went to war to save trillions of lives from being enslaved and killed. I'm the bad guy? While you sat there in your fucking tower? And then, like, then you see the fucking, the rest of the holotape recording. They're a wound in the Force. You're an echo. That's why we banished you. Because we could sense the death of the Force in you. And it's like, then why the fuck didn't you tell me this before? Why didn't you tell me this information prior? Why did you tell me that you were banishing me because you sensed the dark side? Not everybody that followed Revan turned to the dark side. Case in point, did I play Goody Two-Shoe character? I do. I hardly play Darkside when I play KOTOR 2. I do have to do a double playthrough, though, to get all the achievements. Because apparently, like, Steam didn't track my achievements for KOTOR 2 when I was playing it when I first got it. Which kind of sucks. But, yeah, I'm gonna have to play. I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna do a good run first. Getting my first dark side point though. Pretty easy. You just tell fucking Kreia, like, eat a bag of dicks, and it's like, you gain the dark side point. Step down the darker path of the Force. You are going to be evil. I did that. Like, just KOTOR 2 just blows everything out of the water that KOTOR 1 has. It just has you play as an amnesiac fucking... I usually just go for universal power. Like, so I go Jedi Guardian D&D. Like, I've played a lot of D&D, so I know how to min-max, and it's basically based off of 3.5, which is one of my favorite versions. D20 Star Wars. Max my character. Just dump as many points as I can into Persuade. And I'll spread the rest of my skills out to whatever skills I'm absolutely going to require to need. Because I become a crafter. And so I then, once I prestige into Weapon Master, and I go for superior proficiency with single lightsabers. I don't go double. I don't do dual wielding lightsabers, but I don't. I always go for a silver lightsaber blade. Is my favorite lightsaber color. If you told me, hey Darth, I'm going to make you a lightsaber, an actual God-given, like real lightsaber, like the ones from the movies. What color blade do you want? Oh, silver. Just, I don't know. It's got a fucking faint silvery like color to it, like the perfect middle ground. I will say one of the hardest achievements I'm going to be trying to get is get to level 30. The highest level I've ever gotten without cheating, 28 or 29. Which means I'm going to have to fucking min-max the fucking shit out of everything. I'm going to have to perfectly get every experience points I feasibly can get. I'm going to have to do every quest. Give me a second. Every quest, every side quest, every little journal log, every little bonus mission, everything I can do to get experience points. Oh yeah. The monsters respawn. Just the grinding will suck, but hey, P. I just hate the fact that Kreia will always bitch at you. Told you not to disturb the corpses on this planet. Sorry. I want that XP. I totally didn't fucking realize when I first played the game, you can actually change this. You can describe Revan as a dark side user, a light side user, male, female. Whether they saved the Republic or didn't, Kreia actually reveals a lot of information if you have a good persuade where he went at the end of the game. I usually go Force Wave, which is the max. I think, yeah, it's the max for Force Push. And then once it's stunned, yeah, canonically the Exile is female and Revan is male. It's Mitra Surik, I think is her name for the Exile. I still think, because I'm just gonna point this out. The only character model in the entire fucking the male list on KOTOR 2 that there's only one that has a beard. There's only one with a beard. There's a guy with a soul patch. Just one with a beard. And he doesn't look like his character model looks vastly more detailed and more fleshed out than every other male head. Every time I play the game, I always go for him. So canonically for me, in my own canon, bearded Exile is the Exile. Also, there was a guy that I was watching a day or two ago. He said that the female playthrough of KOTOR 2 is vastly better than doing a male run because apparently, and I highly disagree with them. The Handmaiden is one of the most boring characters in the game. I highly disagree with that. I also disagree with the fan theory that Kreia is the Handmaiden's mother. I don't believe that. I also don't think Brianna the Handmaiden is the most boring character. I think Beodor is. Beodor is pretty boring halfway through the game, and that's because most of his fucking stuff has been completely hacked up and removed and left on the cutting room floor. If you don't do his mini quests and have him come to terms with his past and become a Jedi, he's just going to be like, need something, General? And the only thing you can do is be like, I need shields. And they don't like each character only has a finite amount of their resources. And then once that's done, the only thing you can do is, I'll talk to you later. And then he just goes back to what he's doing. But yeah, Brianna has a very detailed backstory. The fact that like she's an Achani warrior, and all of her sisters look like her father, which is supposed to be like which is a big deal in Achani culture. But she bears the face of her mother, so she's an outcast and hated by her sisters because it's a disgrace to the family. Trying her damnedest to be stronger, faster, and better than her sisters to prove to them that like it's not really a big dishonorable thing. She tries to prove herself at every goddamn turn. She actually tries to turn away from the Force until you finally convince her like you shouldn't like turn from that. You shouldn't turn from that light. Like, I think that's pretty fucking compelling. It's a lot better than the other characters, like the weird cat chick from the first game. I don't even remember most of like her story. Was most of those characters. Oh god, I forgot the name of the fucking rogue from the first one. He becomes an admiral in the Republic Navy in the second game. Yeah. Yeah. Her master killed her master because of being impatient because she wants to learn how to use the Force. But Karth. Yeah, Karth is probably one of the more fleshed out characters from the first game. Has a little bit more in depth added in the second game. Like the fact that he's been searching for you because you're the last of the Jedi and he wants you to help him try and restore hope in the Republic so it doesn't collapse. And then like, yeah, I don't like Karth either. He's just kind of meh. But like, oh god, Bastila. Oh, I hate Bastila so much in the first game. She's just a lecturing. She looks. I'll give her this. She kind of looks like She looks like Kate Beckinsale. So if they were ever to be like, hey, we're going to make a KOTOR 1 movie, I'd be like, okay, Kate Beckinsale. She's going to be in the movie. This will make me want to watch the movie. Candor Sordo, a.k.a. Mandalore. out even more in the second game. And then Jolie, she's the Twi'lek teen. No, Jolie Bindo. Because if it's Jolie Bindo, then yeah, Candrass. Like they're my fucking thumb of approval. Yeah, Jolie Bindo. It's sad that the only characters you like, yeah, Mission is the Twi'lek team. Oh, I hate fucking Mission. But yeah, it's kind of sad that the only characters you like are two characters. One of them's one of them literally is just an NPC. He doesn't join. I don't think I can't remember if Jolie. It's been so long since I've played KOTOR 1. But yeah. 47 is still interesting and deep. Yeah, he does join. Awesome. I'll have to play KOTOR 1 again and refresh my memory. That way I can fucking just tear it asunder again. Being like, here's something. I have yet to play the restoration mod for KOTOR 2 because I'm worried as to what it'll do. I'm not sure if it'll improve. I'm worried that it's not going to meet my expectations. There's a lot of people that have been like, oh, it completely like changes everything. It expands Beodor and HK-47 and like it helps improve the plot and stuff. And it's like great on paper, but I don't think it's going to do. Like, I'm fine with Beodor being like, Beodor and having more of a story and getting more of a cohesive fucking ending to the story, but the thing that I was hoping. Okay, yeah. Like, here's a fun fact. I had the Xbox version of KOTOR 2. I had the Xbox version of KOTOR 2, and that was even more cut up than the PC version. Because when I first started playing the PC version, I knew everything I needed to do because of me playing the Xbox version for years. And then at the end, Carthanasi starts talking to you while you're on the Telos station. Like, whole chunks of story that I never saw came out of the woodwork at the very end. And it just enhanced it. And I don't fucking care if anybody laughs at this. I teared up because it made me feel like my actions meant more. Actually thanked me for all the work I had done. Helping Dantooine, Onderon, banding the fucking Mandalorians together so that they can actually help the galaxy instead of destroying it. Fucking saving Telos before me and before I hopped into the Ebon Hawk and just flew off. So I could save the Handmaiden. I will say there's always been a nagging question, and I doubt even I'm not even sure because I haven't found it yet. I'm not sure if like the writers for KOTOR 2 have an explanation for it. How did Kreia get her hands on the Ebon Hawk? Like, because in KOTOR 2, when you go to Korriban and you go to the Sith holocrons, now here's the weird thing. Because this happens in every playthrough. Even when I've explained that Revan was a light side user, Bastila is always a Sith. And she has a Sith holocron stored in her quarters. And she instructs T3M4 to take the Ebon Hawk and go find help so that they can track down where Revan went, because she doesn't know where Revan went. So I was like, okay, T3M4 took the Ebon Hawk and he's been flying around. That doesn't explain how he found Kreia. That doesn't explain who the crew are that were with Kreia, because there's a crew. And I forgot what the other astromech droid are. There's bodies everywhere. Not just Sith assassins, but there's other bodies besides Kreia and yours. But like, you were on the Harbinger. So like it doesn't. I've always wanted to know the explanation to that. I've always wanted to know, like, how did Kreia come about to the Ebon Hawk? Did T3M4 like because she trained Revan? Here's the thing. So, oh god, I'm trying to remember, because I've actually gotten past that point where the captain of the Harbinger actually talks about it. So they heard a distress beacon from a freighter. Like, they heard a distress beacon from a freighter. They went there. And when they went there, they found nobody on board. Like, it was murdered. Everybody on board was murdered. And so they thought that pirates had boarded the ship, killed everybody when the distress beacon was going out, or the distress message was going out, and like, it's just been floating adrift. And that's how the Sith assassins get in. And then they said that they found like the Ebon Hawk drift somewhere. But then that's like, well, where was the Ebon Hawk kept on the Harbinger? Because if I remember correctly, she had taken a heavy beating too. Or was that from being fired upon by the Harbinger? Still, questions that need answering. Because I'm just that nosy of a fuck. Inquiring minds want to know. Especially mine. I want to know. I want to know just what the fuck is going on. I need to know about it. No problem, Stan. on the chat logs. You don't know how many times I've tried searching for something while I have like the stream going, and it'll just fuck up. Let's see. All right, nothing new on Facebook. So that's good. All right. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Oh, lovely. Mike Pence has stated that the decision to fire Comey was not connected to the Russian probe. I call bullshit. All right, so first and foremost, Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not a fan of not a fan of DC's character. Like, I'm just not a fan of DC characters. I'm not. So, like, I don't know. It's weird. I just like. It's like all fine and dandy. Like to anybody who likes Legends of Tomorrow, it's just not my cup of tea. Like, sorry. As to the episode you linked me, holy fuck. Holy fuck. So, let's first and foremost, it's just a fucking stab in my goddamn chest. How it is. The Fellowship of the Spear. Really? Really? This is what you're gonna do? And like, basically, trying to remember it because it's like, so basically, there's fragments, like, basically the main cast steal these spear fragments and they make it whole, and they find out that the only way the spear can be destroyed is by the blood of Christ. So awesome. Now we have to have we have to have Jesus in this whole thing. And so they're like, well, what can we do? And they're like, we're gonna go back to the crucifixion. And then fucking one of the other dudes is like, nah. Like if we go back to significant if we go back to the crucifixion, that'll have dire consequences in history. Let's go to the Battle of the Somme, one of the most decisive battles of World War One, because that's not a significant point in history. Why? Is because one of the other characters, Nate, is like, oh, J.R.R. Tolkien's done a lot of research on Sir Gawain, who just so happens to have Christ's blood. We'll go back in time to find Tolkien while he's fighting in the fucking trenches of the Somme. And then we'll have him go, we'll all gallivant across war-torn Europe. 1916 Europe. So we can find the grave of Sir Gawain. So we can get, like, the blood of Christ. And it's like, why didn't you just go back in time to fucking the time of Sir Gawain? Like, if you know that Sir Gawain possesses the blood of Christ, why don't you just go back in time then? Like, we got to see the Knights of the Round Table? Like, how awesome would that have been? High-tech superheroes fighting with fucking knights against magical, oh god, Morgana. Or Morgan Le Fay, who's an actual villain in DC. And I know that because of the animated series. And Tolkien is just like this lore nut. That's it. That's all they use him for. I know languages. I know mythology. Hoo-hoo. And it's like he didn't, if I remember correctly, Tolkien didn't really do a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, he had a lot under his belt by the time he went to World War One. I will give him that. But he did go back and he was, oh fuck, he was he was born in 1891 or 1890. So he was like 20 something years old. He was like 23, 24 when he was in the Somme. And like he became a professor in those, like, in language and shit in like the mid-20s. Meaning he had to study his ass off to learn that shit. Camelot 3000. Oh, George Lucas is in one. And yeah, it's the CW. The C, like, they took Raiders of the Lost Ark. They took all the exploration, but they took out all the cool, interesting shit from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they're like, this is the stuff we really should put in. And then they just plopped it into this episode. And they're like, well, who should we have in this that's going to be a historical figure, but like we can totally wrap around to be something about fantasy stuff. And they're like, Tolkien. What about C.S. Lewis? You know, oh my god, C.S. Lewis would have been a better fucking pick because the man was an uber religious nut. Chronicles of Narnia, literally, literally is a Christian metaphor. Aslan is Jesus Christ. The reason why the older sister does at the end of the book series, spoilers, Chronicles of Narnia series, fucking the rapture happens, and the oldest sister is left behind as one of the meek, and isn't brought to the kingdom of heaven because she did not follow the heavenly like Christian values to the T. And C.S. Lewis is a big C.S. Lewis is a big fan of mythology. Could have had him. Could have had C.S. Lewis do it. Like Tolkien, I will say this: the man deserves the praise he gets. He honestly does. Give some love to C.S. Lewis, please. Like his Chronicle of Narnia series movies have not been faring too well. Like the child actors that were in the first movie are like already having kids. They're in their 30s. They are much too old now to do like the next the next 4 or 5 books. Just no way. If anything, they should remake. They should honestly remake the Chronicles of the Narnia series. I think that'd be. I'd do it. Flesh out the book. Flesh out the first movie too, because the first movie is moving at breakneck fucking speeds. Oh hey, my name is Thomas. I'm a fawn, and I live in a cliff. Look at how cozy my place is. Oh, it's snowing because of the white witch. Oh hey, look at this! Like we've encountered beavers because our brother Thomas has taken a liking to Turkish delights, and he's now evil, and he's pulling a Judas. Oh hey, now we've met with beavers, and we're going across a river, and oh no, wolves are attacking, and oh hey, Santa Claus is here. And it's like, slow the fuck down, Narnia, please. Give us some breathing room. But yeah, that episode, Sten, was fucking just the entire time. I just kept going, why? Why? C.S. Lewis would have been better. Far better as a pick. And I don't know what the beeping was. Let me check my fucking. No. It's not Task Manager. Windows Explorer? No. Facebook Messenger? No. Wasn't Steam because I had Steam closed down. It wasn't Skype because sometimes Skype will have a beeping like that. And whenever somebody messages me, instead of hearing the iconic boop or beep, it'll be that fucking error clack fucking sound effect. Yeah, it was trash, Sten. That episode was fucking garbage. And yeah, I would not mind if they were like if you came to me like next week, Sten, and were like, "Hey, Legends of Tomorrow is getting canceled," I'd be like, "Cause I can't keep going on like this." Like, I remember when it first aired, and they were showcasing it, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is gonna be amazing," and I was like, "This is just gonna be fucking campy as fuck. It's gonna be cheesy, and it's just gonna suck because it's on the CW. I know it's on the CW. At one point in my life, I only had two channels. No, four channels. There was public access, so we'd have like we had a really shittier version of PBS. Um, the local channel, so we had the local news playing and like really shitty fucking shows like Maury, Jerry Springer, Judge Judy, Judge Alex, Judge Joe Brown, um, Judge Mathis, that shit. Then we had the CW, and then we had I forgot what the other channel was, but yeah, CW is the only channel worth watching half the time. Worth watching half the time. The CW, One Tree Hill, Gossip Girl. Uh, I think it was every Sunday night or Saturday night, or it was Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night. They had wrestling for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Um, Supernatural, and then they'd have like a really shitty movie that would come on. And I remember at the lowest point in my life, the points where we were literally starving because we didn't have food. I despised the Phantom Gourmet because that was the only show that would be playing on CW 28, which was the channel for us. It was the only show that would be playing on a Sunday. So if I wasn't in the mood to be playing KOTOR 2 or Morrowind or Battlefront 2 or any games, and I just wanted to relax in my bed and watch something on Sunday, and I was hungry, like I was too hungry to actually sit down and play video games, it was either watch like a Spanish fucking pastor reading Bible verses, um, infomercials, because for some reason on the public broadcasting thing it was just infomercials, and then I forgot what the other channel had, but the only channel that would actually have something of value was CW. So it'd be Phantom Gourmet, and they'd be like, "Look at these delicious cakes! Look at all this! Look at this prime rib! Look at these mashed potatoes with steamed veggies and this delicious pork sirloin." Then I just be laying in bed, just curled up in a ball, because I'm fucking hungry. Fuck you, Phantom Gourmet. And so I'd have to deal with that. And I've never gotten over that hate. Never. I will never get over that hate of Phantom Gourmet. Being stuck in the middle of town with no way to get food at all. Like, here in the city at least, like if you're hungry and you need food and like you're starving, there's food trucks. You just walk around and be like, "Hey, you know where the food trucks are? Like the free food trucks or just a food truck. Like I'm poor, I don't have money, I'm starving. they'll point you. They'll happily point you like, hey, just go 2 blocks up and to the left, and there's a food truck there handing out fucking like hot dogs, chips, fruits, uh, bottled water, and like you can have a cup of hot coffee or a cup of hot chocolate or a cup of tea. Like it's really shitty coffee, hot chocolate, and tea because it's all donated by like the really crappy fucking. I'm not sure if you have a Price Right, Stan, because you're in New England. I don't know if how far Price Right goes, but Price Right and Save a Lot. Those are like the low, some of the lowest of the low for like grocery stores. They have really shitty coffee, tea bags, and fucking hot chocolate. So like around here, they donate like crates of the shit. Like it's not going to be the best food, but it's food. There's been times where I've gone there and they've served like cups upon cups of noodles, like the cup of noodles. They had like a whole fucking like 400 crate count. They just opened it up and they're like, eat as many as you fuckers want. Yeah, have we have two in this city. That shows you how poor this city is. Like, okay, to anybody here who's never been to a Price Right or knows what Price Right is, if you've ever gone to a Savers or uh, if you've ever gone to a shitty store that has shelving and okay, better analogy. What would be a better description? Okay, so you guys know, like if you go to a Home Depot or something, the metal shelving. So picture that metal shelving. It's all black, and it is then stacked with food. It's like going to a BJ's or a Whole Food store, but it's supposed to be like shelves. It because like I'm sure if anybody like listening to this, like they're probably going to be sitting there going like, well, well, Darth, you're a fucking idiot. Like all shelves are kind of like that. No, 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 no. I'm not talking like the shelves at a Shaw's or a Stop and Shop or a Market Basket or any kind of like big name like like place. Like even Walmart. Like Walmart has shelves, but I'm talking like the barest of shelves. Like the shelves you would like the shelving you would see holding up fucking lamps, boxed lamps, toolboxes and shit like that at a Home Depot. And it's got like like just packages of coffee on one shelf. And at the very bottom, there's nothing but cardboard boxes filled with ramen. Like they just brought the packaging from back out of the storage, pulled the top off because it's perforated, and then they just lay them there. And it's like, and then they have like little tags where it's like coffee, $1.99 a box, ramen, 6 pack for $1. And so you grab the super meal or whatever. I forget the fucking or super package, and it's soup package. Ha ha ha! Fuck you, Marushen, your shitty pun. But yeah, it's like it's really really ghetto. It is a ghetto grocery store. So like, if you ever get hungry and you go to one of these places, they just hand shit out like that because Price Right just donates. But like back in the day when I was in town, we don't have that kind of thing because we're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. We're surrounded by swamps, forests, and fucking rivers, creeks, and fucking lakes or ponds. Like I was living fucking like 25, 30 miles north of this city. That's a long fucking haul. Like, from the shop that I work at to my house is like 15 miles. And the shop is 10 miles from where I live. And I'm in the north end of the city. Like, I'm not like at the very tippy top of the north end. I'm not on the outskirts of the city. I'm probably a 5-minute drive into the city. Actually, I'm probably 2 miles away from the outskirts, or three. But still, like, that's still 7 miles away. So, like, when you're fucking starving and hungry and you're sitting there in your room, like, and there's no way of any kind of way of getting food, like, watching a show about food and how delicious this food is that they're eating, and watching people, like, watching other people eat, kind of just, it's like a fucking knife in the gut, just twisting. It's like, yeah, you're hungry, eat. And it's like, just, god damn it, just please, misery, put me out of my goddamn fucking misery, please. But yeah, I'm actually hungry. I'm still hungry. I ate two packages, like two king size fucking packages of Reese's. So I think I have a box of bear claws I got from the donut shop today. I'm gonna grab those. Uh, hmm, might want something warm though to eat before I go to sleep. I got about an hour before I gotta go to sleep before work. Even though I'll probably pass out at like, I don't know, 11:30. Uh, oh fuck! I gotta put my lunchbox in the fridge so it's cold. All right. Well, I stayed up longer than normal on this stream. That is, so I gotta grab the rest. I gotta grab my laundry because I was washing that and drying it. So it's probably done. It's been done drying for a long fucking time. What the fuck am I talking about? So I'm gonna grab my laundry. Um, I'm probably just gonna watch some YouTube videos till I pass out. So I'm sorry I didn't do the uh, Final Fantasy run like I said I would. I did say I was gonna do a stream Wednesday though. I did that, so I kept that part of my word. But if I get out of work early tomorrow, I'll probably just pop in and do a stream. Fuck it, I'll do a stream. I'll play Final Fantasy because I haven't played that game in a week and a half. Been a while, so I'll probably do that. Um, yeah, I'll do that. So thank you for coming by, Dan and Sten, uh, and Queen. I know you're watching, so you three have a great night. And if I can do the stream tomorrow, I'll talk to you then. If not, hope you have a fabulous Thursday. And I hope everybody else that's listening to this, I hope you guys have a good night too. And a good day today. You deserve it. So I will talk to you all later.